on Chandrayaan 3, discussion on Chandrayaan 3, where we'll be discussing about various details about the Chandrayaan 3 mission. And today, to discuss on this session, we have our really good friends from Resolute Lab India. They are a space startup. They're working on various departments of space science, like astrobiology and also space technology. So, welcome them. And also, let's see how many of you guys are really excited about this session. Please let us know if you are really excited about the session in the chat. Okay, I see people are really excited about this session. So without any further ado, let's start with the session. So I'd like to request our friends from Resolute Lab India to start with the session.
Yeah, thank you, Manish. Thank you for the introduction. So, hi everyone. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, where you are sitting. Okay. So, this particular session is regarding the Chandrayaan 3 mission, which is done by ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. Okay. So, firstly, I want you guys that how many of you know about this Chandrayaan 3 mission? Have you guys any idea about this mission or anything you know about it? Like anything, like which vehicle is going to be used, like launch vehicle, or which type of payloads we are carrying, what is the purpose of this mission, anything you guys know, just put in the chat box or in the comment section. LVM3, okay. LVM3M4, that's very correct. 650 crore is the budget, okay. Anything else you guys know? It is done by India. It is done by ISRO. Okay, you can mention it. Okay, it is a follow-up mission of Chandrayaan 2. Okay, it is going to land on the poles, not sure which has very difficult terrain. Okay, it won't have orbiter this time, only lander. Okay. Anything you want to add something? Anything? Okay. So I think the audience is pretty much aware of the mission. Okay, I can assume it. Okay. So yeah, let's move into this Chandrayaan 3 session. Okay. So as you know, we are from the Resolute Lab India. Okay. So we are working on some space applications tools. Okay. I will be discussing at the end. Okay. So just focus on the Chandrayaan 3 mission. So the agenda of this session is that we are going to discuss about the launch vehicle, which type of launch vehicle we are using for this mission, the propulsion module, like Prerna has mentioned that we are using only lander and propulsion module. We will be discussing on that. We will be discussing on the scientific payload, okay, because the launch vehicle is not the thing which is going onto the moon. The payloads are going to land on the surface of moon, okay, through landers and rovers, okay. Then we will be discussing about the life cycle of Chandrayaan 3, then the orbit path, and at the end we will be having question and answer. But yeah, in between we also discussing about some of the questions you guys have, okay. But wait, why we are doing this mission again, Chandrayaan 3? We have done this before, na, Chandrayaan 2. Then why we are going again with Chandrayaan 3 mission? Any reason for that? Like we have done Chandrayaan 2 mission, like then why we are going with this Chandrayaan 3 mission again? Guys, firstly turn on your camera. I think I should also have forgot to turn on. Just turn on your camera. I can see the faces. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to turn on this. Okay. Yeah. So why we are going again on this mission? Like why we are doing Chandrayaan 3 mission again? Any idea? Yeah, just write in the chat section, or you can speak. If you want to speak, you can speak. Just speak. I can't see the YouTube comments. Okay. You guys can speak again. Chandrayaan 2 was a failure. Okay, that's why we are going again. Okay. Chandrayaan 2 was partial success. Okay, we can say that Chandrayaan 2 was partial success. Okay, not a failure, but yeah, it was a partial success because as you guys already mentioned, our orbital is present in the orbit, and which we can use as a communication backup. We are not going to use as a primary communication thing, but yeah, we can use it for the secondary communication backup. Okay, so this is going to work as a secondary communication backup system. Okay, so yeah, so the reason why we are having Chandrayaan 3 is simple. Like we, it aims to complete a soft landing on the moon. Okay, okay, which was not achieved by the Chandrayaan, obviously. Okay, because when the Chandrayaan 2 mission was planned, it followed everything. Like the launch vehicle was pretty good. Launch vehicle did its job. The orbit was perfect. The orbit, the payload was perfectly orbited, but during the landing time, we have a crash landing. Okay, it's clear now. It's clear. It's clear by the officials of ISRO. It was a crash landing, and during this, we have almost destroyed all the payloads which the Chandrayaan 2 was carrying. Okay, so because of that, we are redoing this mission. Okay, so this is a follow-up mission, which something some advancement, like we have new payloads also. This time we have some new payloads. Okay, this time we have done some techniques. We have followed some techniques to improve this mission profile. Okay, so we have done something advanced from the last time. Okay, we have learned from our mistake, and as the ISRO chairman Somnath sir mentioned, that we have followed the failure mitigation technique. Okay, so what is failure mitigation technique is? Failure mitigation technique is we have learned from our failures, and we have improved all the things. Like pretty much all the things we have improved, like the landers legs we have improved. Okay, the fuel capacity and everything, almost everything I will be discussing in this session. Okay, so we have improved a lot. Okay, from this mission. So that's why we are redoing this mission, Chandrayaan. Okay, so yeah, when we are doing a mission, there must be an objective of doing this mission. So objective of this mission, first objective is to safely land on the surface of moon. Okay, the lunar surface. Okay, so we want to safely land on the surface of moon. Okay, then we have to demonstrate our rover. Okay, like we have to move our rover on the surface of moon. Okay, so this is the second objective. Then we have to conduct the scientific experiment. So here it is written in situ experiment. Scientific experiment means in person. Okay, means like the object will be doing physically all the experiments. Okay, like on the moon surface, it will be doing all the experiments. So it is referred to as in situ. Okay, so it will be doing all the experiments. There are around 6 to 7 payloads we are having, and these 6 to 7 payloads will be performing in a life cycle. Okay, we will be discussing the life cycle, like in particular time interval, the all the payloads will be performing their experiments. Okay, they will be collecting the data, and they will be sending the data to the ground station on Earth, like to the ISRO. Okay, so this is the mission objective. I hope this is clear. Okay, mission objective is clear, because if this thing is not clear, we can't proceed further. Okay, I hope this is clear. Can I have yes in the chat or in the your YouTube comment section? Yes, it's clear. Okay. Yes. Okay. So yeah. So this is the LVM3, which is earlier known as the GSLV Mark III. The name is changed because of some laws, the policies, because ISRO wants to enter in the international space market. Okay. Firstly, the name was GSLV. So what is the full form of GSLV? Anyone? What was the full form of GSLV?
It's geosynchronous launch vehicle.
Okay. So yeah, it was geosynchronous launch vehicle. So by its name, it was pretty clear that it can be used for the geosynchronous orbit. But the name has been changed by the ISRO. Now the name is Launch Vehicle Mark III. So it can be used for any orbit. Okay. It can be used for the low Earth orbit. It can be used for the geosynchronous orbit. Any orbit you want, you can use this particular launch vehicle. So they have marketed this launch vehicle correctly this time. Okay, so they have conducted 3 missions. So this is the 4th mission, which is going to be. That's why the vehicle name this time is LBM3M4, which has been mentioned by someone in the chat. Okay, so this is the correct name this time. Okay, so we have this. Let me use the laser. So this is the firstly, you can see the pointer. Everyone can see this pointer. Okay. So this is the payload fairing. Okay, under this we have the payloads. Okay, it will be opening like this. Okay, so under this we have the payloads. Okay, so and then we have this C25. This is the cryogenic stage. This time we have this white color. Okay, so this time we have this in the white color, not in the black color. So there are reason I will be telling you. Okay, then we have this solid boosters, which are referred as S200. Okay, then we have two solid boosters. Okay, then we have this liquid stage, which is this one from here to here. This is the liquid stage. Then this short rockets are known as the flex nozzle. Okay, so let us understand one by one. So this is cryogenic stage. Cryogenic by its name is clear. We will be using the cryogenic engine under this. Okay, so this is the cryogenic stage. Then we have this liquid stage. In this liquid stage, we will be, this is the Vikas engine or the Viking engine, which was adapted from the Viking engine. So this is the Vikas engine. Okay, so this Vikas engine, this is Vikas engine simply, in which we are using liquid propellants. Okay, then we have the solid boosters, in which we are using the solid fuel. Okay, so this is solid boosters. Okay, then we have this flex nozzle. The purpose of flex nozzle is to orient the launch vehicle. Okay, so for example, if your launch vehicle is going like this, okay, if your launch vehicle is going like this in the atmosphere, so if you want to tilt this launch vehicle, there are mechanisms like thrust vector controlling and various other mechanisms. With the help of these mechanisms, you will fire some thrust over there. Longitudinally, you will be firing some thrust. Okay, so this thrust will be tilting the whole rocket. Okay, so because of this, the rocket will be following the trajectory which you have already decided. Okay, so these flex nozzles are used for that purpose. Okay, so this is the thing. Now, in the payload fairing, we will be having the Chandrayaan 3. I have already cleared this. This is a cryogenic stage. This is Vikas engine, in which we will be using the liquid propulsion. Okay, this is solid boosters. We will be studying the working. Okay, I will be giving you the brief of the working, but not in detail. But yeah, a brief of what and how these propulsion systems work. Okay, so now what is this LVM3? Like, we are using this LVM3 for various purposes. Like, we have used this for the OneWeb satellite. Okay, why we are using this for the Chandrayaan 3 mission? Is there any specific reason? Why can't we use that PSLV, which we have used for the Chandrayaan 1 mission? Why we are not using that? Any reason? Any specific reason? I can give you a hint. High payload capacity. Okay, so this is this you can consider it as a hint. High payload capacity. Okay, so because of the high payload capacity and because of the high weight, okay, of the rocket modules, we are using this LVM3 because it can carry a huge amount of weight. Okay, so it can carry a huge amount of weight. That's why we are using this LVM3. Okay, so there are stages in LVM3. Okay, so anyone have the idea of stages we have in LVM3? Like, what are these types of stages we have in the LVM3? Like, how the LVM3 works? Guys, I have only turned on the camera. You guys are not turning it. Why are you not turning on the cameras? Four stages. Okay. Three stages. Okay. Anyone? Four stages. Okay. So let us understand it. Okay. See. Firstly, when I can't use the video over here because this is going live on the YouTube. Okay, so there can be copyrights. That's why I'm not using the video. Otherwise, I have used the videos. Okay, so consider this as your LVM3. Okay, then we have this your solid boosters. Like, let me go back. Okay, so these are your solid boosters. Okay, this pan is your LVM3. Okay, inside we have solid boosters. So firstly, when the ignition starts, okay, at the first point, okay, the ignition is started through the solid boosters. Okay, solid booster start producing the thrust. Okay, this liquid stage is not touched. This liquid stage is not initiated at first. Okay, only the solid boosters are turned on. Okay, so this is the first stage. Okay, then if you can see over here, minutely, we have a covering over this liquid propulsion systems, like a white covering. Okay, this is a carbon composite covering. Why this is done? Because when the solid propulsions is done, they will produce a fume, and that fume can be entered into this liquid propulsion, and due to which there can be various reasons that your liquid propulsion is not going to work. Okay, so there can be reason. That's why we put a film over the liquid propulsion, and during this whole process, at like around t plus 3 minutes, we remove this film manually. Okay, there are process like from the ground station, we remove this film manually. Okay, so this is known as the nozzle removal uh, process. So we remove this film, and after that, when the whole solid boosters are burned properly, then we have the ignition in the liquid state. Okay, you must be thinking that how this solid propulsion engines are working. I will be clearing it. Okay, so then this liquid propulsion ignition starts. Okay, after the completion of your solid boosters and after the deattachment of your solid boosters. So how the solid boosters are going to deattach? So here we have pyro. We use pyro mechanism. So we have three pyros on one single solid booster, like 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So we have 6 pyros, and due to with the help of the pyro mechanism, we blast the pyros, and this solid boosters get separated. Okay, so this solid booster gets separated. After that, we have a ignition in your liquid propulsion. Then your liquid propulsion starts. It goes up to a certain altitude. After that, your liquid propulsion gets separated. Okay, then your cryogenic. This is the third stage. Okay, then your cryogenic stage start. Okay, because of this cryogenic stage, it is only capable that you can reach the lunar surface in minimum time. Okay, otherwise the time will be required a lot of time. Okay, we can reach with the PSLV, but the time will be decreased and the fuel capacity is decreased. Okay, so then we use this cryogenic stage. After this cryogenic stage, when this whole process is done, this payload fairing will be opened. Okay, so this payload fairing will be open, and you will be in the space environment. Okay, so you will be in the space. Okay, so then only the whole process begins. Okay, so this is how the ignition takes place. Okay, like firstly your solid boosters will be burning, then your liquid propulsion, then your cryogenic, then the last stage. Okay, so this is how the whole structure of the LVM3 works. Okay, so here we can see the configuration. Like as I have mentioned, this is the your, anyone can recall this name? Are you guys attentive on
Flex
flex? Flex nozzle.
nozzle.
Okay, so these are the flex nozzles. Okay, so we are using this flex nozzles. Then we have this solid propulsion. Okay, so how this solid propulsion works? Okay, here we have this igniter over here. I will be showing the exact picture which is used in ISRO. So we have an igniter. We ignite this whole thing and we charge the igniter. Like igniter will be coming inside this. Okay, so igniter will be coming and the solid propulsion, the constituent materials will be burning. Okay, so this is how the solid propulsion systems work. In the liquid propulsion, we have a combination of the chemicals, and with the help of these chemicals, the liquid propulsion thing works. Okay, and if you observe here in this thing, this are the white layers of wires or the white structure on this thing. Okay, so this is the avionics. This is the avionics which is interconnected. Okay, like we have to remove this solid boosters. For that purpose, we have this avionics systems over here. There are control systems over here which govern the whole process, which govern the whole algorithm of this launch vehicle. Okay, so we have this for this purpose. And if you look, we have a cryogenic stage. Okay, in the cryogenic stage, we use turbo pumps, turbo generator, jet generators. Okay, so it is a complex thing. It cannot be covered in this session. Okay, properly, but yeah, for just basic understanding, we use turbo pumps and turbo jets in the cryogenic engines. Okay, and because of that engine, this become really powerful. Okay, really powerful. Okay, so because of this, we can enhance the your what we can say the efficiency of your launch vehicle. Okay, so this is the thing. Then if you focus here, we have a linings over here like nozzles. In nozzles we have a lining over there. These are the composite fibers. Okay, why we have put this composite fiber over here? For the cooling purposes. Like when the solid boosters will be burning, it will be producing heat around it. Okay, so for the cooling purpose we have put the composite fiber. So how the composite fiber cooling works, like it will be peeling off like at 100 let's say at 100 degrees centigrades it will peel off, then another 200 degrees centigrade it will peel off, one layer by layer it will be peeling off. Okay, so this is how this uh, cooling system works. When we have a composite carbon cooling, then we have a regenerative cooling. The regenerative cooling is done through the chemicals we used. Okay, so this is how we keep our launch vehicle cool and calm. Okay, so this is the igniter which we are putting in your solid boosters. Like in this, we are putting the, okay. So this is the igniter. This is the exact image of the ISRO. Okay. So this is how we put the igniter. Okay. So igniter is put under the solid propulsion systems. Okay. So this is what a launch vehicle look. Okay. So you must be thinking that yeah, everything is fine with the launch vehicle. So can we trust this launch vehicle for the Chandrayaan 3 mission? I'm not giving you any thing like, can we trust this launch vehicle or not for Chandrayaan 3 mission or any future mission? Yeah, guys, speak up. Can we trust this launch vehicle or not? Yes or no? We can. Maybe. We can maybe. Okay. Most probably we can. Okay, so yeah, guys, we can trust this launch vehicle. Okay, there are some things which can go wrong, but we can trust this launch vehicle 95%. Okay, because there are some previous failures in this launch vehicle. Like if you see this is the Soyuz launch vehicle by the Russia. In this we have this Warner engines. So in some launches in the GSLV, when we have the GSLV, when the name was GSLV, then we have some failures because of this Warner engines. Then second time we have the failures due to the turbo pumps, like which we have in the cryogenic engine. Okay, so these are the two major things we can have, but this time we don't have this Warner engines in the whole architecture of your launch vehicle, but we have these turbojets in your cryogenic engine, because without turbojet your cryogenic engine can't work. Okay, so but yeah, this particular thing has been removed totally. Okay, but we have one thing like turbojets, so there can be the problem, but yeah, this time we are pretty much sure that launch vehicle will not be causing any problem. Okay, because the last time also the launch vehicle was perfect, so this time we are also yeah, anyone was has raised the hand. Okay, so this time we can also consider that launch vehicle will be going totally intact. Okay, so launch, so from our side, from the study we have, launch vehicle is going to be perfect this time also. Okay, there can be marginal errors. Okay, like 2 to 3% of the errors, but yeah, that can be a luck of ISR or the organization, that depends totally. Okay, so this is whole thing about your launch vehicle. Like I think everything is clear. Like how we are using this launch vehicle, like we have the solid state solid boosters, then we have this your liquid stage, then we have your cryogenic stage, then we have this Chandrayaan 3 payload fairing stage. So I think this whole thing is clear. Like earlier you must be seeing this as something else, like what is this particular thing. You may have learned this is flex nozzle. This works on the mechanism of thrust vector controlling. Okay, so they are mechanism thrust vector controlling. The spiros are removed on the basis of algorithm. There is timed system, like at this particular time interval, when the indicating level of your solid fuel is this much, it will be getting busted. Okay, so this is how the whole thing works in the launch vehicle. So I hope the launch vehicle part is clear of Chandrayaan 3. Yes or no? In the chat section, yes or no? Clear, clear. So then we have the, after the launch we have to follow the orbit. Okay, so after the launch we have to follow the orbit. So we have a simple orbit. This orbit was given by the ISRO. Okay, so I've taken the same orbit. Okay, so after the injection, after the going out from the Earth atmosphere, after escaping the Earth atmosphere, we will be going in this orbit, particular orbit. Okay, so it will be revolving in this orbit for a certain time period. Okay, after that, it will be ejecting from this orbit and it will be transferring into the lunar orbit. Okay, so after a certain period of time, like say around 7 8 days, after 7 8 days it will be going into the lunar orbit. Okay, so the payload fairing, the payload which I considered, okay, the crash and everything, it will be getting into the your lunar orbit. Okay, so after the insertion in the lunar orbit, it will be revolving here. After the certain period of time, like the time expected is around 25th of August, and between 25th to 30th of August. Okay, so between that period of time it will be landing on the surface of moon. Okay, so if you see here, it can be zoomed out. So we will be touching down the lunar surface through this following orbit. Okay, so I suppose this orbit path is works on simple laws. Okay, it follows the Kepler's law. So on the basis of this Kepler's law, we form this orbit, and this orbit is like pre-defined. Okay, the launch vehicle has to follow this path only. Okay, the payload fairing has to follow this path only. Okay, other than the insertion, like if the payload follows some other part, it will be fluctuating an error. Okay, so there are some sensors to prevent this type of error, and we have some small thrusters inside the payload fairing. So because of that, the payload follows the same orbit. Okay, the whole structure which is carrying the propulsion module, which you said, no? The propulsion module follow the same orbit path. Okay, because of the small thrusters and all types of mechanism which it follows. And there is a total during this whole process, like from this particular orbit, from this Earth orbit to this lunar orbit, we have a proper communication system. Like there is a orbiter which is already present in the lunar orbit, so we have a proper communication with that particular thing to the ground stations. Okay, so this is how the orbit thing works. This is the path. So the first thing, your launch vehicle goes up, and after it goes up, it follows the your Earth orbit. Then after the certain period of time, it gets transferred into your lunar orbit, and then it touches down the your lunar surface. Okay, so I hope this particular part and this slide is clear. Yes or no? Yes, guys, it's clear. Okay. So yeah, before going further, I want to show you this thing, particular thing, and so I want to show you this particular thing. Anyone can recall this? What is this? In the chat section, anyone can recall this? What is this particular thing? This is the Chandrayaan 3, Chandrayaan missions. Like any of the mission previously, like you guys say, na, that it is the first time we are landing on the South Pole. No, it is not the first time we are landing on the South Pole. We have landed on the South Pole, but in a different manner. So just tell me, this picture is public recently, like 1 2 days before. So many of you don't know about this. Okay, so any one of you have the idea of Chandrayaan 1 mission? Because if you know about Chandrayaan 1 mission, you can answer this question. Anyone? Yeah, anyone have the idea? So yeah, how many of you know about the Moon Impact Probe, MIP? This is the module which was crashed on the moon. No. Yeah. This is the same module, but if you are considering this through the Chandrayaan 2, but this is not the Chandrayaan 2. This is of the Chandrayaan 1 mission, the Moon Impact Probe. Okay, so this is the Moon Impact Probe. Okay, this we have already uh, in the Chandrayaan 1 mission. Okay, so this was the point the Moon Impact Probe followed. Like this is the jump. It is at this particular point it crashed. Okay, so we are already on the south pole of the moon surface. Okay, and for your knowledge, like many of you must say that like your NASA has discovered about the presence of water on the surface of moon, but no, NASA has not done this. Okay, they have this their payload in this Chandrayaan 1 mission only. NASA has sent their payload in the Chandrayaan 1 mission only, but the NASA has not done the discovery of your water on the surface of moon. Okay, it is done by the India, but there is a fight between India and NASA. ISRO doesn't talk a lot about this, but if you saw a recent interview of Somnath sir, I will not name the channel. Okay, so if you saw the recent interview of the Somnath sir, so he has clearly mentioned that ISRO has done the discovery of water on the surface of moon. Okay, so only ISRO has done the discovery of moon or water on the surface of moon. Okay, so it has been already discovered. The water has been already discovered by the your Chandrayaan 1 mission. Okay, so at this particular point where the your moon impact probe crashed, okay, so it is referred as the Jawahar point, okay, because if you know this is due to the political influence, okay, so we have named this as a Jawahar point, okay. Then we have a Shackleton point. Shackleton point is the point where we find the water molecules, precipitation of the water molecules. The NASA's N3, which was the meteorological payload. Okay, so it searched about the water molecules. It searched. It was not that it doesn't search anything. Okay, it searched, but the amount of discovery which was done by the Chandrayaan moon probe was much larger than, because the percentage was like 70 to 80%. The water precipitation level, the molecules of the water verification done by the moon impact probe in the Chandrayaan moon mission was greater than the your N3, which was the NASA payload. Okay, so that's why we say that your Chandrayaan 1 mission has discovered the moon on the surface, moon or the water on the surface of moon. Okay, so this is the approximate location. Okay, so if we are going this time also, so this time we are having a location around this time. This last time it was 89° south, okay, 30° west. Okay, this time is around 40° south, and the west location is not mentioned, I think. And they have mentioned the slope and all the thing, but the west location is not mentioned. They have only mentioned the south location. Okay, maybe they will mention after the whole process. Okay, so this is the whole thing which has been done already in the Chandrayaan mission. And also to mention, this moon impact probe has the altimeter. Okay, this has the altimeter and some laser systems also. And because of which we have decided the landing of the Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3 missions. The Chandrayaan 2 mission, how the Chandrayaan 2 mission was going to land properly on the surface of moon. We don't have any data. The NASA doesn't provide any data. Then how we are going to land on the surface of moon? Because we have the data from the Chandrayaan 1 mission. Because the Chandrayaan 1 mission has the data of the all the terrain of the, because how the laser system works, how the spectrometer works, they create a 3D atlas. Okay, like what I say. Refer this as a terrain of your moon. Okay, so this will be your terrain and your Chandrayaan 3. Okay, so this mobile, consider this mobile as a Chandrayaan 1 mission. So this Chandrayaan 1 mission will be scanning the surface of your moon. Okay, so after scanning the surface of your moon, it will creating a 3D atlas. Okay, like we say, in today's we have a generative AI system. Okay, so this generative AI system has been already done by your ISRO. Okay, so we create 3D atlas with the help of these data points. Okay, with the help of this data point, we create the 3D atlas, and with the 3D atlas, we have the points, we have the location on which we have to land on the surface. Like we have the whole surface point, we have identified the whole location, we have the whole 3D atlas of that particular location on which we want to land. Okay, so if you are saying that Chandrayaan 1 mission is not linked with the Chandrayaan 2 or Chandrayaan 3, no, it's linked because it has already taken the data of the altitude, the terrain surface, and all other things. Like some things are not in the most of the data is not in public, but yeah, the ISRO may have the data, and because of that data points, they have created the mission profile of Chandrayaan 3. Okay, so these are some insights about Chandrayaan 3 mission and Chandrayaan 1 mission. Okay, so yeah, so your rocket was going up, it follows the Earth orbit, then it transferred into the moon orbit, then it landed. Okay, So after landing, this is your lander and rover. Okay, so the lander will be landed. Okay, so I will be telling you how your Chandrayaan 2 mission failed also. Okay, at the end of this session. Okay, so this is your lander. It will be landing. Okay, this time it has only 4 thrusters. This time it has only 4 engines, to be precise. Last time we have 5 engines, but this time we have 4 engines. Why? Because we have removed the central engine, and because of that removal, we have like saved around some amount of mass. Okay. Okay. One thing. How many of you can understand English? I am just speaking English. Can you guys understand English, or should I explain in Hindi also? You guys are comfortable in English now? सबको इंग्लिश समझ में आ रही है ना यार? मैं भूल गया था ये पूछना, सॉरी. Okay, okay, sure. Okay, so yeah, so after land, this Chandrayaan 3 mission has the 4 engines. Last time we have the 5 engines. Okay, so 5 engines. Though in the 5 engines, like again, this mobile is your Chandrayaan 3 mission. Okay, so here we have your here we have your 1 engine, 2, 3, 4. In Chandrayaan 2, we have a central engine also. So this central engine was working as a to avoid the collision. To avoid the collision, we were using the central engine in that particular Chandrayaan 2 mission. So people mentioned that we don't have any avoidance system, avoidance system in the Chandrayaan 2 mission. We have designed that engine, but it was not that much precise. Okay, because of some there was a quantization errors. Okay, like if you have listened to the speeches of Somnath sir, he has mentioned that there was a dispersion of molecules which was done. Okay, but it was not dispersion thing. I will be telling you, explaining you from my perspective. Okay, this is not any perspective. Okay, it can be wrong. Okay, it can be wrong also. So I will be explaining you on my perspective. Okay, so why this time we have 4 engines? Because firstly we have reduced the mass. Okay, we have removed 1 engine, we have reduced the mass. So we have increased the fuel capacity. Okay, we have increased the fuel capacity, and by increasing the fuel capacity, our lander has a choice. Our lander can land anywhere on the surface of Moon. But this time we are not going to precisely land on particular coordinates. Like last time we have this XYZ coordinates, we have to land on this particular coordinate. This time we have a 500 into 500 of area. In this particular area, we can land anywhere. Also, if the lander doesn't find any suitable location, like there can be rocks, there can be some sand molecules, or there can be the water, because the soil of that particular surface is expected to be very sticky. Okay, why it is going to be very sticky? Because we have because there is a presence of water now. That's why the soil is going to be pretty much sticky. So if the soil is sticky, your thrusters module are not going to work properly. So that's why your lander has a choice that it can land anywhere, like around 500 into 500 area. And after that, if it has the fuel capacity, it can land beyond that area also. Okay, it can land beyond that area also. So it has the freedom this time, like it can land almost around 700 to 800 in square feet of the area. Okay, so this time the lander has the freedom of landing anywhere. So because this time they are going very raw, this time they have to land anyhow. Okay, so this time they have given the freedom. Okay, so this was the whole thing. Then your rover will be coming out, but let me focus here. Your lander will be having some payloads, some scientific payloads. Okay, like here you can see this is the rolling cameras and all the things I will be explaining in detail. Okay, then your rover will be also having some payload also. The rover has 2 payloads, and the 4 payloads are carried by a lander only. Okay, so the 4 experiment will be done in the lander itself, and the 2 experiment will be done while roving the surface, on the lunar surface. Okay, so this is how the whole procedure is going to be done. Okay, so now any one of you know about the payloads? What is payloads? And how many types of payloads we are going to carry in this mission? You know that, yeah, you in the earlier you guys mentioned that we are going for the soft landing, we are going for the Chandrayaan 2 mission again, but none of you mentioned that we are going to done some scientific experiments. None of you, not even a single guy has mentioned that we are going to. Yeah, some of you have said that we are going to study the terrain surface. Okay, that was pretty much correct. We have this payload, one payload. We have a one payload to study the terrain. Okay. Anyone? Why these payloads are designed? For what purpose payloads are designed? Any idea? Speak up, guys. Yeah. Yeah. Firstly, turn on your cameras. I am only turning on my cameras. None of you have turned on your camera. In the chat section, you can speak. Okay, if you want. Guys, I'm audible now. Harsh.
Yes, sir. That you are audible.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. Sure. So payloads are nothing. Payloads contain some sort of experiment or some sort of instruments. Okay, I'm just giving you the brief. Okay, so Ramba LP, chess team, ILSA, scientific payloads. Okay, very good, Priyanshu. These are the payloads which we are carrying. Okay, this and so the payloads are simply we carry some scientific experiment in a payload, or we carry some sort of instrument to study the environment of anything. Like we can carry the payload for studying the atmosphere. Like there are some meteorological payloads, there are remote sensing payloads. Okay, but for the lunar surface, if I will be confining this, so we are carrying the payload for the lunar surface to study the terrain. Okay, like the chest A. Okay, then we have the Ramba to study the whole atmospheric your ionization of, or the ions property or the another things. Okay, then we have another payloads to study the component composition of magnesium and all the things. Okay, yeah, Pranshu has mentioned all the payloads, EPX, LIPS. Okay, so these types of payloads are used to study the whole atmosphere of the your lunar surface. Like what we do now, like if we are going to purchase a house, we look for everything. Like this house has proper electricity, this house has a proper water condition, this house has proper ventilation, this house has vast. If you look for the vastu shastra, it has a proper vastu shastra, the sun is coming from this side or not. So we look for this thing now. So this then how we are doing this thing with the help of our payloads. We have eyes is working as a optical instruments. Okay, we have hands are working as a robotic arm. Okay, so we have this type of payloads in our human body also. These are the instruments. Okay, so we can sense. Okay, if you want to hear about the location from the neighborhood, we can use our ears can be working as your audiometric payload. Okay, so we can hear from the neighbor that how is this location, particular location. So we have the payload in our own body, we have the instruments in our own body. Similarly, if we want someday, like we want someday we want to live on the moon. Okay, or we want to make the moon surface for a base, like we want the moon surface as a base. Okay, like in future if we want to go the Mars, we should have a surface like the launching pad. So we are creating the moon surface, we are creating the moon surface like that only. Okay, so we have to study all the things, like what is the surrounding of the moon, where there is water or not, what sort of composition the soil has, is soil good for the vegetation purpose. Okay, can we grow the plants on the surface of moon? So we want to study all the things. Okay, that's why we are using the payloads. Okay, that's the whole context why we are using the payloads. Okay, so this is the payload fairing which you have seen earlier. In this we have this whole propulsion module. In this we have this is the nose corner which I showed you earlier. Okay, so this is your lander module. I said now that we will be having a lander module and the propulsion module. Okay, so this lander module and your propulsion module will be acting on your moon surface. So they will be significantly working on your moon surface. Okay, so on your moon surface, when this land, this has the reaction wheels. Anyone knows how? What is the purpose of this reaction wheels? Anyone? What is the purpose of reaction wheels? व्हील्स तो व्हील्स होते हैं, ठीक है. रिएक्शन, वो कुछ सॉर्ट ऑफ रिएक्शन कर रहे हैं, कैसे कर रहे हैं? What is the working principle of this reaction wheels? Guys, just this is a simple question, like why we are using this reaction wheels. Any idea? Just give it. Okay, you are here to learn now, so just speak up. To reduce the pressure and land softly. Okay. Wind, atmospheric details. Okay, anyone want to add something in this particular? shock absorber. Okay, that's pretty good. So yeah, wheels are not used for these purposes like shock absorber or anything. So reaction wheels just orient your whole propulsion module. Like if this is your propulsion module, so reaction wheel will be having your with the help of the sensor and actuators present in the reaction wheels. And as I mentioned earlier, with the help of the thrust vector controlling mechanism, so the reaction wheel will be acting. Okay, so the reaction wheel will be moving your propulsion model. Okay, so these are used for that purpose. Okay, so then we have this Lander horizontal velocity camera. This was not present in Chandrayaan 2. Okay, so this is used this time. Okay, so with the help of this Lander velocity camera, we will be uh, having the image of your the horizontal image, okay, and the vertical image also. We will having the resolution of around 126 pxi of the vertical images also. So we can have the vertical image as well as the horizontal image with the help of this velocity camera. Then we have this chassis payloads. I will be discussing in detail. Then we have Ramba payload. Then we have K-event altimeter. So again, we have this altimeter thing. Okay, so this altimeter will be calculating the data. Like if this is a surface of moon, so if this is how your propulsion module is coming. So it will be calculating the distance, like how much is the distance, like 3 kilometer, 4 kilometer, 5 kilometer, 2 kilometer. Okay, so it will be calculating the distance with the help of this K-band altimeter. And this K-band altimeter has the efficiency that it will be directly sending the data to the ground station. Okay, so it will be directly sending the data to the ground station. So this time, if anything goes wrong, they will be having the exact data that at which particular time interval we have this uh, crash or something. Provide attitude control authority and stability on spacecraft. Yeah, we have this attitude control authority and stability on this. You are saying about the reaction wheels, no? I suppose you are saying about the reaction wheels. But beyond the reaction wheels, we have a separate attitude control system for your whole payload thing. Okay, we have a whole separate attitude control system. We have a separate thermal control system for your payloads. Okay, so we have this system in a different thing. Okay, so then we have a laser Doppler velocity meter, the star sensor, which will be tracking the stars. Okay, on the basis of tracking, it will be working. Then already mentioned ILSA payload, lander legs. Okay, altimeter. Okay, so this is the thrust. Like it is of the propulsion module. No? So it will be producing the 800 newtons of thrust. Okay, so it is, yeah, it is liquid engine based. Okay, then we have this LHDAC. This is the lander hazard detection avoidance camera. Okay, this will be capturing the image of the whole terrain. Okay, on the basis of this, it will be creating the data points, and on after creating the data points, it will be creating a uh, idea like at this particular surface can we land or not. It will be taking the decision automatically. Okay, this is not controlled manually. This whole lander thing is going to operate automatically. Okay, so it will be taking decision at the instant. Okay, like I can land on the surface or not. Okay, how it is going to take the decision, like for example, uh, if you have a surface, again taking this as a moon. Okay, so if you have this surface and you have some stones over here, like consider this as the stone. Okay, this mouse as the stone. So we have a stone over here. Okay, and if your lander want to land, it will identify, it will scan this, it will scan this, and it will, like from the lasers also, we will be using lasers also now. So from the lasers it will be scanning this, like yeah, here we have the stone, here we have a pebble or something like this. I can't land here, so it will be moving slowly and it will be landing here. Okay, it can just land next to the stone also. Okay, it can just land next to the stone also. Okay, is the possibilities. Okay, so with the help of this lander hazard detection avoidance system, we can land and we can identify the terrain also. Okay, so this I will be explaining afterwards. Okay, but yeah, this is important thing, like warm electronics box. Okay, why we have this? Because the temperature on this southern part is very very good. Okay, that's why we have this warm electronics box, because the electronics which we are using, okay, the electronics which we are using cannot survive that particular temperature. Okay, it cannot survive that particular temperature. Okay, and this time also we have increased the surface area of the solar panels also. Like it can produce large amount of energy at this particular interval, like what is the life cycle now? During that particular life cycle, it can create certain amount of energy that it can survive totally in that particular life cycle. Okay, so I think these particular things are not there to be explained. Yeah, but this thing I can explain, like there are some straps over the wheels. If you have seen the video on YouTube, you must have seen there are some straps on the wheels. Okay, there are some small what we in Hindi we say there are some small patti. Okay, so there is some small patti on the wheel surface. Why is it that? Why we have that small strip on the surface of wheel? Any idea, guys? Anyone can say, yeah, or you can say like to avoid friction or something. No idea. Okay, so these steps are like to measure the terrain of the, just like a tank. Okay, yeah. Firstly, yeah, to avoid friction. Second reason is like to calculate the terrain. Like we have to study the soil of the your surface of the moon. So with the help of these small strips, what we can do, if we are like, if you are moving, if you're walking on a surface, by putting your foot on the surface, you can exert like force. You will be exerting some force now. So while putting that strip on that particular surface, you will be having the density, you will be having the amount of adaptability that soil has. Like if we are putting a friction of like say 10 newtons, okay, so force of 10 newtons, so by applying the force of 10 newton, is that particular surface is going down or it is stable? Okay, or the amount of water, maybe now there can be amount of water surface, water inside that particular thing now. So if we are pressing that surface, is there some molecules of water or not? Okay, so that's why we have the small strips on that surface. Okay, so this is why, this is the possible reason, this can be the possible reason why we have these straps. The second reason is the most favorable, that to avoid the your friction. Okay, to prevent the friction. Okay, those strips have the sensors. Yeah, those strips have the sensor. This has been confirmed. Okay, these strips have the sensors. Okay, so yeah, this was a question by Gaurav. What is star sensor? Okay, so star sensor are like, it will be calculating the data from the stars surrounding the moon. Okay, there are several stars surrounding the moon. Okay, so with the help of photocells, it has a sensor known as photocells. With the help of this photocell sensor, it will be gathering the data, and on the basis of that data, it will be directing the whole lander that, yeah, at this time you have to move, at this time you have to do this or do that. Okay, because there are certain algorithm which works on the basis of your star sensor. Okay, and also we send the data to the ground station also, na? Like uh, you guys have heard about a Dhruv Tara. Okay, so with the help of Dhruv Tara, we can identify a particular location. Okay, I'm taking the basic example. Okay, so with the help of a Dhruv Tara, we can identify a particular location. So if in space we have a star, let's say CX985, something name as a star. Okay, so we have that star, and our lander has detected that star. So we can detect the location, exact location of our lander. That at this time, with the help of the telescope of NASA or something, we can detect the location of our lander. Like at this time, our lander has detected this star, so our lander must be at this particular point. Okay, at this particular point, our lander must be situated. Of the Chandrayaan 2 or Chandrayaan 3. Okay, so we can do this with the help of the star sensor. Okay, because we will be having the data. ISRO must having the data of that Chandrayaan 2 with the help of the star sensor they have used earlier. Okay, so I hope it is clear. Okay, don't we have that much compatible telescope? No, ISRO doesn't have that telescope till date. Okay, ISRO is working. I will be telling you. Okay, the payloads are really interesting. Okay, you will be getting the idea that what is the plan, what is the future the ISRO is thinking, okay, working on. Okay, the plan should just stay at the end. I will be telling you that, yeah, ISRO is going to design a telescope. Okay, so yeah. So these are the payloads which we are using, like Ramba, which is the radio anatomy for moon. Like it will be studying the ionosphere and the atmosphere of the moon. Okay. Then we have the CST. It will be studying the thermal condition of the moon. Like what are the thermal condition of the moon? What is the thermal condition of the soil itself? Okay. Then we have the ILSA. ILSA will be going for the seismic activities. Like there are earthquakes or not, earthquake are on the earth surface, there are moonquakes or not. Okay, it will be getting the data for the seismic activities. Okay, then we have this retro reflector, which will be detecting and creating an array. Okay, it will be creating a 3D atlas for us. Okay, so in future if we want to land some another lander or rover, it will be creating a 3D atlas for us. Then we have this alpha particle X-ray spectrometer. Okay, then we have this laser induced breakdown spectroscope. Okay, and we have this shape. This shape, the Pranshu which has mentioned that do we have the compatible telescope? You will be getting the idea like, is ISRO going to design a telescope or not by this payload? Okay, shape. Okay, this was not in the your Chandrayaan 2 mission. This was not in the Chandrayaan 2 mission. Okay. Okay. So firstly, Ramba. So Ramba will be studying about the ionosphere and the atmosphere of the moon surface. Okay, so it will be collecting the data of the ions, electrons, and all sort of quarks and the small materials. And with the help of that data, it will be sending the data to the Earth surface and the wavelengths. Okay, also the wavelengths. So like we can say now, like if there are aliens. Okay, so there can be a possibility that we can't see the aliens because of the spectrum which we can see. Okay, like we have a visible spectrum. Okay, maybe the aliens are not in that particular spectrum. Okay, maybe the aliens are in some other spectrum. Okay, so we can get that particular idea from that wavelength, the data collected by this type of payloads. Okay, so this will be collecting the data for that particular thing. Okay, like for the wavelengths of the atmosphere and all the particular thing. Okay, then we have this chase payload. Okay, so this will be studying about the thermal effect, like what is the thermal state of your moon surface, what is the thermal of the surrounding surface. Okay, so it will be getting almost everything about the moon, the temperature and all the thing, like how the temperature is dropping, how the temperature is rising on the moon surface. So it will be having the all sort of idea. Okay, so this is going to work in two stages. There is active sensor which is going to be used, and there is a passive sensor. Okay, so there are two stages in which the chest is going to work. Okay, so this is the thing about the chest and chest payload. Okay, so this is the chest probe in the whole lander. This chest probe will come down and it will be inserted into your moon. Okay, it will be deployed into the moon. It will be having the data of your soil. After that, it will be upholded for a certain period of time. It will be having the data of your surrounding of the moon surface. Okay, so this is how your chest payload is going to be working. Okay, what did we ended up landing on the dust dunes instead of the real surface on the moon? I have cleared this, but yeah, I will be clear. See what happens. Let me show you. I think I have mentioned this. Yeah, here only. Huh? So see, this was the data from the moon impact probe in the Chandrayaan 1 mission. Okay, so this was the southern pole data. Okay, this is the southern pole data by the moon impact probe of the Chandrayaan 1 mission. And with that data, we have the almost everything, like how our payload is going to land. Okay, 1 second. So we have the almost all the data that how our payload is going to land on the surface. Okay, so with that particular thing, like you have mentioned that there can be dust dunes or something else. So this time ISRO has already said officially that we are providing a range of 500 into 500 to land on the surface of moon. Okay, instead of that, they have provided a additional landing range of 700 into 800. Okay, means it can land around your like 800 into 800 square feet of area. Okay, it can land it. Okay, so how it is going to be done, we have reduced the 4 engines. Like first time in the previously Chandrayaan 2 we were using the 5 engines. This time we have only 4 engines. Okay, so we have reduced the weight and we have increased the fuel capacity. So by the increase in the fuel capacity, we have the freedom that our lander can rove around the surface of moon and it can land properly on the fresh surface. Okay, like on a proper surface. Okay, see friends, if that is the case, I think it is not going to happen. Okay, this is not certain, like because we have the data. Like, see, this moon impact probe data is just released 2 days before the Chandrayaan 3 mission. Okay, this the data which is on your screen. Okay, this is the latest data. You will not find this data. Okay, maybe some of may used. Okay, but they have a lot of data. Okay, we are discussing on the data which is present in the audience, like in the general public. Okay, but we don't know about the exact data. Like, they may have the data about the exact location also. They may have the terrain. May have the exact terrain surface also. Okay, so we don't know about that data. This is the public data on which we are discussing. Okay, on which I can give you my perspective or the thought process. Okay, so this is my perspective that on the data which is available, this there is possibility that they can land properly. Okay, properly. But if there is a case, there is dust and dunes present over there, god god knows what is going to happen. Okay, so this is not going to be happen. Okay, I suppose, because they have the data. Okay, I hope the answer is clear. Who has asked this? Gaurav. Okay, Gaurav and Priyanshu. Okay, I hope it's clear. Yeah, wait, bro. Yeah, Priyanshu, the data from Chandrayaan. Right, yeah, I will be sharing it. Okay, if you want, I will be sharing the data in the group. If you are in the group, I will be sharing it. Okay, yeah, this is an old data. This is the data of 2009. Okay, okay, yeah, this is how your chastity payload is going to work. Okay, then we have this ELSA payload. Okay, how can I join Resolute Lab? This can we can discuss later on. Okay, we don't have current data. We okay. See the current data. They may have talked with the NASA. Okay, the recent visit of the recent visit doesn't concern about this Chandrayaan 3. Maybe they have the data. Okay, I am just saying the data is not public. Okay, they may have the exact data also. Okay, like the 3D. You guys are not aware of the 3D atlas. Okay, they create a 3D atlas on the basis of the data points they collect. Okay, yeah, we don't have the current data because no one has landed around the surface recently. Okay, no one has landed recently around that surface. China, China is not going to share the data. If China has done this particular thing, China is not going to share the data even with the NASA. Okay, so we are just gambling on that thing. Okay, the science just work on this particular thing. Okay, in science we believe. Okay, we don't know what is going to happen next. Okay, so maybe we can discuss this on 25th of August. Like, has the Chandrayaan 3 landed properly or not? Okay, so this we can discuss on that particular thing. Okay, so we have this ELSA. ELSA will be measuring the lunar seismic activities. Okay, like there can be the sort of any what is the exact condition of the lunar surface, so it can measure all the things. Okay, so with the help of the main sensor, there are the main sensors. Okay, electromechanical sensors. With the help of the electromechanical sensors, they will be measuring the seismic activities around the landing site. Okay, because it cannot move further. Okay, so it will be calculating the data around this. And we have this LRA. Okay, so this LRA is the laser reflectometry array. Okay, so as I mentioned that this laser reflectometric array is going to collect a lot of data. Okay, so this is going to collect a lot of data around the surface. Okay, like the landing site, it will be collecting the data of the south pole. Okay, so like you guys are saying that we don't have our data currently, but in future we will be having the data around the southern part of the surface. Okay, guys, just 1 minute. Okay. Yeah, so in the future we can have the sort of data in that particular landing site. Okay, in that particular coordinates we will be having the data with the help of this laser reflectometric array. Okay, so it will be studying whole dynamics of the moon system, like where the surface, where there are hinges or not, where the surface is smooth or not. Okay, it will be studying all sort of things. Okay, then we have this laser induced breakdown spectroscope. Okay, so the objective is very clear. Okay, it is going for the composition of the minerals, like we have a magnesium, carbon, phosphorus, nitrogen. These chemicals are really important: phosphorus, magnesium, carbon, potassium. Okay, and there is another payload which is going for the same purpose, this APXS. Okay, so it is going for the element composition like magnesium, aluminum, silicon, and also this is the particular set. This is the particular sample space. For this sample space, this particular payload is designed. Okay, like you guys must be thinking like we can collect any sort of element. No, because when we design the payload, now we have to think of it like if we want to calculate the presence of oxygen, so we have to design some sort of chemical reaction. That chemical reaction will be working under that payload, experimental payload, and we through those chemical reaction we will be getting the presence of oxygen. Okay, through those chemical reaction, if we want the calcium, we can detect the calcium also. Like if we there are some extrophilic chemical reaction, there are some introphilic chemical reaction. Okay, I suppose you have studied in your class 10th and 12th. Okay, not 10th, in 12th class you must have studied about this chemical reactions, and with that help of chemical reaction we studied this elements. Okay, we are not going randomly, like we can't just predict like we found this element. Okay, we have a sample space, and through that sample space we can only identify. Okay, we have like for magnesium, aluminum, silicon, like we have 6-7 elements now, so we will be having 6-7 chemical reactions, and this 6-7 chemical reaction will be identifying that we have this element or not, or if we don't have that element, the experiment is failed. Okay, simple the experiment is failed. Okay, if we have this chemical composition, we will be having the success rate. Okay, and similarly if we talk about this lips. Okay, in the lips we will be studying the composition, around in the atmosphere, and this APX will be studying the soil. Okay, so there is a difference. The lips will be studying the atmosphere, the presence of chemicals, the presence of gases in the atmosphere, and APX will be studying the rocks and the soil. Okay, so there is a difference, but the purpose is same. We are going to study the chemical composition. We are going to identify the nutrients around the surface, on the surface of moon. Okay, then we have this shape. Okay, till now everything is clear or not? Because I want to devote a lot of time on shape. Okay, because this is really good. Shape was not there in Chandrayaan 2, but yeah, this time we have this shape. So everything is clear, like why we design payloads, why we have payloads. Okay, so the let me revise it for you. Okay, firstly, okay. Okay. So we started with why we are going for the Chandrayaan 3. Then we studied the mission objective, like we are going for the safe, soft landing to demonstrate the rover, like it can roll on the surface or not, or we are going to conduct our scientific experiments. Okay. Till then, you can just comment in the chat. Everything is clear or not? Yes or no? Okay. Then we discuss about the payloads, like the launch vehicle. Okay. So once the launch vehicle is gone up, okay, then we have your orbit. Then your launch vehicle will be entering the Earth's orbit. Then after a certain period of time, it will be transferring into the lunar orbit. Then for a certain period of time, it will be revolving under the lunar orbit. Then it will be landing safely on the lunar surface. Okay, so this is how the things are done. This is the data of your Chandrayaan 1 Moon Impact Probe with the help of the Moon Impact Probe. So I am just stating clearly here, the India was the first country to identify the water on the surface of the moon. Okay, NASA N3 was able to identify the water on the surface of moon, but the precipitation level and the molecules composition was around 8 to 12%. But the composition level of the Moon Impact Probe was much higher than the N3, which was the same payload in the Chandrayaan 1 mission. Okay, but of NASA. Okay. Then after your rocket is gone, it has completed its orbit. It has landed on the surface of moon. Okay. After completing, the payloads will be moving around. Okay. The payload has done their jobs. Ramba has done its job. Okay. It has studied about your ionosphere and atmosphere. JST has done the thermal study. Your ELSA has done your seismic studies. Your LRA has created your 3D atlas. Okay. then your lips and your APX has studied about the composition and the chemical component we can find on the surface of moon. Okay, so these things are done. Okay, so I hope how much higher, matlab, Priyanshu, can you classify your question again? So till this point, everything is clear or not? Any question, guys? Can I go further? Clear. Discover of water percentage. Okay. Yeah, I will be telling the water percentage, but yeah, I will be sharing the whole document. Okay. With the in comparison with the NASA, it was around 45% much. Okay, higher than the NASA. Okay, NASA payload was the N3 and the our payload was the Moon Impact Probe. Okay, so the percentage was like in comparison what 45% higher than the NASA. Okay, so we will be considering like we have done the discovery. Okay, so we must take the credit. Okay, this is not my word. Okay, this has been clarified by the Somnath sir, the chairman of ISRO. He has stated directly told in a recent interview that yeah, India has discovered the water on the surface of Moon. Okay, no NASA thing. Okay, just believe in your country. Okay, so just believe in your country. So we have a shape. This is a spectropolarimetry. This is going to search for the exoplanets, the planet like Earth. Okay, so what this particular payload is going to do, it will be studying this reflection of sunlight. Okay, like on the surface of moon there will be reflection of sunlight. Okay, there will be reflection from some other planet also in the surrounding. Okay, they may be from out of our solar system also. Okay, they can be out of our solar system, or they may be present in our solar system, but we haven't identified them till now. Okay, that's why we name them as a exoplanet. Okay, there can be a planet in our solar system also, but it is not counted in solar system because we have not discovered it yet. Okay, so with the help of those reflection we will be studying the exoplanet, like can we find the exoplanets or not. Okay, with the help of those radiations, like if the sun radiation is coming from some planet, like if it's coming from the earth, so the radiation which are coming will be having the presence of your what we can say the photosynthesis processes there now on earth for the plantation. So in that particular radiation we will be having the presence of chlorophylls. Okay, there are some methodology through which we can study the presence of chlorophyll in a particular radiation. Okay, and with the help of those radiation we can further study like what is the composition on that planet, like what is the amount of nitrogen which is present on that particular planet, amount of phosphorus. Why I'm just saying the nitrogen, phosphorus, because these chemicals are important for maintaining the life cycle on a particular planet. Okay, that's why I'm saying phosphorus, nitrogen, oxygen, magnesium, potassium. Okay, these are important for maintaining a good ecological biocycle. Okay, so these are important. So that's why this payload is very good. Okay, this payload is really going to do wonders. Okay, till date, I think some of the organization like NASA has done, but this is the next step by the ISRO. Okay, ISRO has never done this thing. Okay, and this can be the indication that ISRO is going to do a lot in the coming years. Okay, they may have their telescope, like someone has asked me, like Priyanshu has asked me. Okay, so they may have their telescope to study the planets, to study the other terrestrial bodies. Okay, so they may have this telescope in future. Okay, they may have their telescope in the future. Okay, so this is what the purpose of shape payload is. Okay, it is going to find the exoplanet near the Earth or maybe beyond our solar planet or something else. Okay, but it is going to find something. Okay, it is going to find something. So this is all about the payload. Okay, so just I'm showing you a small video. You may be getting a better idea, like what I have discussed now. You will be getting a clear idea. Okay. So, Abhijit, I am just muting the voice of this video to avoid the copyright. Something, okay? It's audible or not? It's audible. The video is audible.
No.
Video is not audible, no?
In starting, it was.
So this is your positioning camera, which is in the payload. Okay, this is in your propulsion payload. Okay, these are the solar panels. Okay, solar arrays. Okay. Then we have this Lander horizontal velocity camera, which I already discussed. Okay, this is your K-band altimeter. Okay, if you have question, speak up because I am presenting the video. That's why I can't see the Google Meet screen. Okay. Okay, let me tell you about this landing legs a lot more about this landing legs. Okay, so these are just not your landing legs. Okay, these landing legs have some potential to create the energy, to create the power. Okay, how these landing legs are working on a principle of piezoelectric effect. Okay, the round rings which you are seeing, these are the piezoelectric sensors. Okay, when your lander is going to land on the surface now, with the help of the pressure which is exerted on the legs, okay, with the pressure on the legs, it will be creating the energy. Okay, with the help of this we will be having some additional energy backup. Okay, with the help of this we will be having some additional energy backups too. Okay. See, this is how your lander position detection camera is going to work. It is going to identify the whole terrain. Okay. So this was the question by something Pranshu and Gaurav. Okay. So this is how the your camera is going to identify the surface. Okay. Then it is going to land. Okay. So yeah, this is how your payloads will be coming out. This is your ELSA which is coming out. It is going just directly into the moon. Okay. This is how your payload is going to work. Okay. So this was regarding the payload. Okay, this was this short video by the ISRO itself. Okay. So now we have the question. We have studied about everything about the payloads, about the launch vehicle, about the orbits, how it is going to function. Now, what is difference between the C2 and C3? Is there any difference? Are we have improved or not? Okay, this is the basic question. Like from the last failure, we have improved or not? This is the basic question. Yes or no in the comment section. Yes, we have improved. Okay. Yes. Just speak up, guys. You are, I have suppose 18 to 20 guys. You just speak up. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Anyone here feels that we have not improved from the last Chandrayaan 2? Anyone? There must be one person here who is sitting over there. Okay. There is no one. Okay. So why I have named this slide as a failure mitigation technique, because in the interview which was given by the Somnath sir, so he clearly mentioned that we have learned from our failures, and we are using the failure mitigation techniques. Okay, and this is not a new term. This is not a new term, which is already done by the NASA. Okay, in the Voyager mission, they have done this thing. Okay, they have done this particular thing. So what we have improved, like this time we have 2 orbital high resolution camera. Like we can study a lot about the terrain. Okay, we have a Doppler velocity monitor. We can study the density of the dust and dunes and all the things. Like we can send the signal and we can study the terrain surface. We can study the landing site. Okay, we have a larger area for the solar panels. Okay, we have extra fuel. We have extra fuel because we have removed the central engine. Okay, we have a mass. We have a portion for the mass, so we have created the extra fuel. The softwares are improved. Okay, I will be telling why we are discussing about the softwares. Okay, so this is the thing which we have improved in this thing. Then test, which are tests done on this particular thing. Like we have done integrated whole test on the sensors and the navigation sensors. Okay, with the help of the helicopter as a test platform. Okay, like on helicopter we have placed our sensor and we have checked it for the vibrations and all the things. Okay, we have tested it for. Okay, then we have done a integrated hot test. Okay, this is also done for the your navigation and the all the things, particular things, sensors. Okay, then one most important thing, we have done the lag performance test. Okay, we want to avoid this crashing thing this time. Okay, so we have done this lag performance test and we have created a similar thing like lunar simultant test bed in the ISRO facility. And with the help of this facility, we have avoided this particular thing. Like we are not going to crash this time. So they have taken all the preventive measures like we can avoid the crashing this time. Okay, so this is the test which is already done. Okay, uh, this is the vibration bed. Okay, if you can see, this is the red particular thing is the vibration bed. This is the whole Chandrayaan 3 module. Okay, so on the vibration bed we check about the like the pressure and the all sort of vibration which are working on the sensors, the solar panel, thrusters, everything we check for it. Okay, so the Chandrayaan 3 has passed almost all the tests. Okay, all the tests. So before going into the live on mission, after seeing a lot of new things here, definitely it has improved a lot. Okay, so any one of you can tell me what is the life of this mission? 14 days exactly. So the life of this mission is the 1 lunar day, which is the equivalent to 14 days. Okay, and what is the mass of this payloads? I'm not asking about the mass of the whole launch vehicle, including the fuel. I'm asking about the what is the mass of the payload. What is the mass of the payload? Any ideas? So the mass of the payload is 1778 grams. Okay, this is the official data by the ISRO. Okay, and the total mass is around 4,000 kilograms. It is around roughly 3,980 grams. Okay, so I just make a round figure, 4,000 kilograms. Okay, so this is the your flight sequence. Okay, like which I already discussed with you. Like we'll be having the ignition, solid booster will burn, then we will be having the separation through pyro mechanism, then we will be having the liquid engine burn, then your payload fairing will be opening up. Okay, then we will be having a separation of your liquid engine, then the cryogenic engine will be working, the C-25 engine will be working, and after that it will be putting up into the orbit. Okay, so this is the data from the last mission, last Chandrayaan 2 mission. This time it can vary. Okay, it can vary depending on the weather condition and all the thing. It can vary. Okay, the time can vary like minutely, minute thing, like wow, 5 seconds. Like you can take around 15 to 20 second marginally. Okay, 15 plus minus 15 seconds. Okay, it will be changing this time. Okay. Okay, so this is how your Chandra or your payload will be going into the orbit. Okay, 969 seconds. Okay, you guys can calculate it. Okay, my maths is little bit weak. Okay, so you can calculate it. Okay, so after this whole thing, there will be a orbit sequence, and after the orbit sequence, it will be landing around 25th of August or 26th of August. Between 25th to 30th of August, it will be landing on the surface of Moon. Okay, and after that it will be completing the experiment for next 14 days. And there may be a question from your side like, after 14 days can we do the experiments or not? Okay, the answer can be yes or no. Okay, but the most probably the answer will be no. 99% the answer will be the no. Why? Because the temperature will be like 200 degrees centigrade, 300 degrees centigrade. Okay, so in that particular condition, the electronics cannot wake up. Okay, even human cannot wake up. So electronics is not going to wake up in that particular system, particular conditions. Okay, you can say like we can design the thermal control system for that particular condition, but can you give me the answer that how you are going to power the thermal control system? Anyone can give me the answer that yeah, you can say na, like for that particular thing we can design a thermal control system. In that particular thing we will be maintaining a temperature, and in that temperature we will be keeping our electronics alive. Okay, but how you are going to solar panels, how the solar panels are going to get the energy? Sun will be not directly on that particular duration. No? Sun is not facing that moon that particular duration. So how? Any answer? There is an answer. Have you guys heard of RTG? Radio thermoelectric isotopes? No. Okay. So on radio thermoelectric isotopes, everyone is working. Okay, everyone is working, and it is the future. Okay, it is the future. And in some missions, like in Aditya L1 mission, I am expecting it. Okay, in Aditya L1 mission, they can use the RTG. Okay, the RTG can create the power, the energy for your life cycle around 15 years. Okay, 15 years it can create the energy without any environment, without any help. Okay, so without any help, RTG can create the energy. Okay, so this is the future of power supply of the space industry. Okay, RTG. Okay, we can't use fuel cells, we can't use batteries, we can't use solar cells. We can use RTG isotopes. Isotopes will be the future of power energy. Radiothermal isotopes. Yeah, radiothermal isotopes. Okay, so we can use the radiothermal isotopes. This is the future. Okay, so we can use this. Okay, I think I have this slide or not. I don't have this slide currently, but if you want, I can show it to you guys. Okay. Um, so this is the video. I want you guys to.
9, 8, 7.
The video was audible or not? I will repeat. Okay, I will repeat. Video was audible or not?
Yes.
Okay.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
So this was the whole representation which I talked with you in last 1.5 hours. Okay. So now just don't go. I will be telling you. Yeah, Adikesh, 1 second. Okay. I know you guys must have questions. So I'm just going to tell you the perspective of my own why the Chandrayaan 2 mission was a failure. Okay. So there is only one single reason. Okay. One reason which was stated by the Somnath said that due to some software technical glitches. But how that software technical glitches arises? Okay, let me tell you. Let me explain it. Okay. So there is a tolerance limit. There's a tolerance limit of everything. Like if you want to maintain a particular tolerance limit, like if your lander is landing at a particular distance, like the coordinates are 78 north or 78 south because we are landing in south now. So 78 south. Okay. So if the coordinate this much and 0.23, 78.23, and the speed is around, let's say 50 meter per second. The speed is coming at 50 meter per second. Okay. And the thrusters are, the engines are giving the thrust at around 20 Newton, 10 Newtons. Okay. So this is the tolerance limit which is made by the software. Like if you design a particular thing, if you design a power supply, you specify it for 0 to 5 volts, you specify it for 200 to 440 volts. So there is a similar tolerance limit for a software also. Okay, if that particular things goes beyond that particular tolerance limit, it will surely produce the glitches. Okay, it will surely produce the glitches, and that may be the certain reason why the software glitches was there in the Chandrayaan 2 mission, because the lender doesn't identify. The lender was not capable of identifying the proper landing site, and due to which it may have done some wrong calculation, and due to some wrong calculation, the software tolerance limit goes beyond the limits, and it got crashed. Okay, that's why it got crashed. Okay. Secondly, there is a one second point I think you guys have not questioned yet. Maybe you guys can question, but before questioning it, I'm just creating it. There is a tidal interlocking concept. Okay, there's a tidal interlocking concept, and which is also, if you talk in the language of scientists, we when the moon, when the your rover is going, when the payload module is going, we say it as a minute of horror. Okay, why we say it's a minute of horror? Because we cannot communicate during this particular time interval. Okay, because we are only seeing the one side of a moon. Okay, we are not seeing the other side of the moon. Okay, we have never seen the other side of the moon. Okay, we are just seeing the one side of the moon. Okay, so during that particular thing, like when your payload is here, propulsion module is here, but when it is going here, you are not able to communicate. You are not able to see it. Okay, why you are not able to communicate? Because the cosmic radiations, the amount of radiation which are produced, which are there already, may create interference. Okay, there are some interferences due to which your communication cycle, the bands which we use, the S band for the communication, get interrupted. Okay, and due to which we cannot communicate, and it can also destroy your communication payload also. Okay, it can destroy whole communication cycle also. Have you guys have heard about the Allen belt radiations? So there is a radiation belt, and if any electronics pass through that radiation belt, it will destroy it. Okay, certainly it will destroy 70 to 80% of the electrons. Okay, so this time also we can have this sort of technical glitches. Like one glitches, I can say you that in the PSL or LVM, maybe the cryogenic may have something. Okay, these are just my perspective. Okay, 95% your LVM vehicle is perfect. Okay, it is going to do. I will typing in the chat section. Okay. So yeah, 99% exactly your launch vehicle is perfect. Okay, it can do the work. Orbit is perfect. It will do the work. Okay, the tidal locking, during the tidal locking, maybe there can be some communication glitches. Okay, during the landing, I suppose this time there is no certain things. Okay, there may be certain things, but most probably there no particular sign that we are going to have some sort of crashes or something. We are going to have a proper soft landing. Okay, and currently if you want to know the exact condition of your LVM, the fuel is filled in your LVM vehicle. Propellant is being filled. It has started at 7 p.m. IST. Okay, and it is going to be filled till 2 a.m. in the morning. And in the morning they will be checking it for the health condition, and they will be monitoring it. And after that, at 2:30 they will be launching. Okay, tomorrow itself. Okay, now this is open for you guys. If you have any question, you can just ask it. You can just throw your question at me. We are here to answer your questions. Okay, but yeah, just turn on your camera. If you have turn on your camera, only I will be answering your question. Okay? Yeah, those who have raised the hand, just ask the question. Ask your questions. गाइस अच्छा बिना कैमरा खोले पूछ लो यार, पूछो तो सही. I think Adike Shama Bhu Prasad, you have raised your hand. Guys. Acha, Swamijit and Abhijit, Manish, is there any question on the YouTube?
No question in the YouTube.
Okay. Can the question be out of context from C3? You can ask. Possibly, if I can answer, I will answer it. Okay. But it should be technical. Okay, it should not be related to something else. Okay.
I was just asking that currently, like the biggest problem if we see in the space is that the space debris, right? So the question was related to that. That
okay.
Also, like when we launch a vehicle, right? So, like take the example of LMV. Okay, so as we have the side boosters, when we separate the side boosters, our fuel is not completely burnt, right? There is some amount of fuel always left in it, and that fuel is just revolving around the Earth's orbit, or maybe came back to Earth, or who knows, right? So instead of like just leaving it around, like why don't we place some GPS trackers like in that, so that we can trace that where the our boosters are, so that if we want extra fuel in space, right, we can extract from it and we can refuel our satellites. They can be so their lives can be extended.
Yeah, Priyanshu, yeah. On your question, the work is going on. Okay, have you heard about the Japan JAXA, their aerospace company, the space organization?
Yeah, I have heard it.
They are already working on this particular thing. Okay, they have started working on it. And in India, if you ask me, have you heard about the Manastu space?
No.
I think no. Okay, so the Manastu space is also working on this problem statement. Okay, so Manastu space is working. JAXA is working. The Japan Space Organization. So these guys are already working on this particular problem. Okay, and also if you want to work on this particular thing, like you can also start working on it. Okay, this is really simple. Okay, this is not a tedious task to put a tracker on a derbies or these solid boosters. Okay, the condition is only that why we don't put trackers. Okay, there is a reason why we don't put trackers, because we don't want to have any sort of interference in the power supply. As I showed you, there are avionics pipes which are going through the solid boosters and the your liquid propulsion thing. So we don't want to have some sort of interference, because if we are using some GPS tracker, the GPS tracker will be active throughout the launching thing, and that GPS tracker may create some sort of interference. And due to that interference, our altimeter, let's say our altimeter may produce wrong readings. Okay, it may produce errors. Okay, for example, you have a GPS tracker. Okay, your GPS tracker is perfectly fine. Okay, your altimeter is perfectly fine, but the power consumption which has been done by your GPS tracker will be much more than your altimeter and the other sensors which are already present in your launch vehicle. Okay, so that's why we avoid any sort of tracking mechanism during this launching thing. Okay, we avoid this thing. Okay, but yeah, we can calculate the exact location with the help of the satellite which are already present in the space. Okay, we can track the derbies and all the things. Also, Japan, as I already mentioned, that Japan is working. Okay, they are working on cleaning the space. Okay, they cleaning the space derbies. And talking about that, you are saying that there will be some fuel which is left in the your solid boosters or anything. Okay, anything. There is no fuel remain. Okay, there can be 1 gram or 2 grams of fuel which is remaining, but almost they consume each and every pile. This I'm taking in respect with the ISRO, because if you know the budget constant is there. Okay, so due to the budget constraints, they use every single gram of that fuel. Okay, so they don't left any fuel, and the mechanism is based on that purpose. Like how your solid boosters are getting detached. Solid boosters are getting detached only after when the fuel is being consumed totally. The fuel is being consumed totally, and this is an overlapping situation. Your liquid engine will be starting. Okay, the liquid engine will be starting at the level like the fuel is remaining around 5% in your solid boosters. Okay, the fuel is remaining around 5% in your solid booster. Then your liquid engine will start automatically, and during that particular process, okay, the solid booster will burn. They will burn each and every gram which is present in them. They will burn each and every gram. Okay. So regarding the fuel, I think there is no fuel remaining in your propulsion systems. Okay. If you're talking about the satellites or thing, satellites may have some hazardous things like batteries and all the things. So they may have the hazardous things like battery is really hazardous in the space environment. Okay. They can be used for, but there is always some safe margin in fuel, right? I said there is an algorithm which works. There is a computer algorithm. Sensors, there are the level sensor which we use for this particular mechanism. The level sensor judge the level of fuel which is already present. Okay, so the level sensor may have the error of margin around like 1 to 2%, plus minus 1 to 2%. Okay, so every sensor is having that margin. Okay, so due to that, they may have 1 or 2 gram. Okay, but beyond that, they are not wasting much sort of fuel like 1 kg or 2 kg fuel. They will the fuel will be in just grams, less than 10 grams. Okay, just you can take my words on that particular thing. Okay, you can ask any of the scientists also. Okay? They make calculation precise to avoid fuel wastage. Exactly, yeah. They make the calculation very precisely. Like if you're talking about ISRO, they make particularly peculiar calculation regarding this particular thing. If you want to reach at 250 kilometer of altitude, they will be calculating. Yeah, our solid booster will require let's say 100 kg of fuel. So they will be taking into the calculation. Okay, so there is no fuel wastage. I think marginally wastage is there. Yeah, 1-2% waste is not considered if you are looking for the 600 crore of budget. Okay, if you are looking for the 600 crore of budget, the 1-2 gram of fuel doesn't matter, because it will be around, let's say what will be the cost of that particular thing, around 2,000 or 5,000 particularly. Okay, but safe margin would be avoided, right? Because that, yeah. But yeah, regarding your question, cleaning the derbies, the process has been started by Japan and the Manaslu space in India. Okay, so we should study about the startup which are in the India. Okay, they are really doing good. Okay, Manaslu space is doing really good in this particular domain. Also, they are doing for the green propulsion. They are working on the green propulsion things. Okay, so they are working, and I think there is been a recent update by Dhruva Space. They are also working to deorbit your satellites and to take back those satellites and to uh, call them back on the Earth surface. But yeah, they are in the process. They are in the process. They have not done it. But Manasvi Space has developed their technology for this particular thing. Okay. So, any more question? I hope your question is clear, Anshu.
Arjit, can I add something to your points?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah, see, so Priyanshu, yeah, hello everyone. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Harsh Verma. I am the co-founder and CTO of Resolute Lab. So, adding to the Arjit's point, I was saying that Priyanshu asked about the recovery of that solid booster. So, first of all, I want to make you clear that if a solid fuel starts burning, so solid fuel, we don't have a technology to stop burning that solid fuel. Once the solid fuel is started burning, then it will burn off completely. So, there is no point in recovering that module. Okay, and the height of the S200 boosters are around, like, they will detach from the rocket at around 60 to 50 kilometers. Okay, so from that altitude, after consuming all the fuel, they are falling towards the earth in the water. Then to recover that empty vessel, to recover that empty module, it will be more cost than to make it. Okay, so we are not recovering that module again. There are some missions which are conducted, as you know, RLVTD. Okay, so ISRO is also uh, focusing on like reusable vehicles. So yeah, uh, gradually the technology will improve, and also we will recover some kind of modules for our better, like, to avoid the cost efficiency and all. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? You can ask about anything like astrophysics, rocketry, anything you want.
I'm just presenting the screen for battery purposes. Someone has asked battery questions. So,
Yes.
this is for the particularly payload now. I'm audible now. So this is particularly for the payloads. We use this sort of primary batteries. Okay, okay, and solar panels, as you guys know. This is the thing: radioisotopes thermoelectric generators. Okay, this has been already used in the Voyagers, Cassini, and Mars rover. Okay, the main drawback is the low efficiency. Okay, but these things are the future. Okay, in the future we are going to use these things. Okay, isotopes are the future of creating the power energy, power source. Okay, okay. So how these work, like thermocouples are the, they are transducers. They will be converting your heat energy into the electricity. Simple reasons, logic. Okay, then yeah, these are the exact picture of the power batteries which we used in the mission. These are the exact picture of the ISRO. Okay, ISRO used this sort of batteries. This is the solar panels. These are the lithium-ion batteries. Okay, these are the lithium-ion batteries. Okay, we don't have used radioisotopes created, so we don't have the picture of radioisotopes. These are the exact picture of the batteries which we have used, the power source which we have used in the missions, like Chandrayaan 1 mission, Mangalyaan missions. Okay, so we have used this sort of batteries. Okay, so you maybe have question that where we produce this sort of battery in the ISRO centers, like in XCC, BSSC, we produce this sort of batteries. Okay, so this is the power source options. If you want to discuss further now, so we can use this power source options. If you want to have battery life, like if you want to have a battery life beyond 100 hours, we will be directly jumping onto the thermoelectric isotopes. Okay, this is the only option. In future, we can look for the nuclear thing, but yeah, currently we are doing research on the thermoelectric isotopes. So this is the current research and this is the future. Okay, but for India, this is the future and this is the beyond future. Okay, so if we consider the current stage of the ISRO developments, so this is the future and this is the beyond future. Okay, so this you may get, you can see in the Aditya L1 mission. So I'm just expecting it that they may use in the Aditya L1 mission, but uh, no one knows ISRO what they are going to do till the last of the mission. Okay, so this was about the batteries which we use in the payload. Okay, I hope about the batteries is also clear. Okay, like who has asked the thing, because everything is clear now about Chandrayaan mission, Chandrayaan 3 mission. You want to ask anything, you can ask it. Okay, we are open. And regarding the data of Moon Impact Probe, I will be sharing in the group. Okay, that is clear data. I will be sharing.
Arjit, there is one question in the YouTube section.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is the purpose of shape spectropolarimeter of habitable planet Earth? Okay, so as much as I know, that is used to study the atmosphere of the Earth, and like I am not sure about it, but
Right.
have you seen the scattering of light in the atmosphere, like the solar rays? So in the day we see blue, and in the evening time we see reddish sky. So how it happens? It happens because of scattering of light. So by this device, by this program shape, we can study about the atmosphere of the Earth. So yeah, this was about the program shape.
It's clear now. Who has asked it? It's clear. Yeah, there is a link in the chat section. You can also visit this particular. Okay, look, shape experiment. If you want to know more, now so please see. Shape experiment is the future. Okay, the ISRO is trying to build the foundation to study the exoplanets. Okay, till now ISRO has not done anything to study exoplanets. Okay, so they are just trying to study exoplanet through the spectropolarimetry mechanism. Okay, there is a mechanism, spectropolarimetry mechanism, due to which they will be studying the radiations. Okay, the radiations can be coming from the any other planet, from the stars, or the surrounding of the lunar atmosphere. Like this is your moon. Okay, in the surrounding of the moon there can be anything like the stars, or there can be tiny small planets which are not yet discovered. Okay, so we can study about them also with the help of the radiations. Okay, so you must be saying that how we can study the radiation. So it is a totally the concept of the quantum physics and the wave nature of the particle. Okay, so you have to go into that particular depth. Okay, so like I am just giving you the example. Okay, for example, let's say this calculator. Okay, this is a calculator. Okay? This calculator is made up of your phosphorus. Okay, phosphorus. Okay, and this is your sun. Okay, there is a light emitted from the sun. Okay, sun radiations are also having some sort of composition of anything like the radiation. I have not studied the radiation, just I'm giving the example. Okay, so the composition of the radiation is already there uh, at the scientist end. Like the scientist has already the radiations data, and that's why they are sending the Aditya L1 mission also, okay, to study the sun. Okay, so this is the beginning. This is the beginning. I have said that this is the beginning of studying the universe for the ISRO. The ISRO is really going into the right domain now. Okay, previously the ISRO was just launching the launch vehicle and working as a satellite launch vehicle service. But now ISRO is taking one step ahead, and they are creating their shape, and further they will be doing the missions for the earth, like for the sun. Okay, so they will be getting the data from the sun, and the radiation will be hitting on the surface. Okay, so the radiation impact on this particular surface and the radiation impact which is done in their laboratory before, like for the phosphorus they will be having some sort of experiment. Okay, they will be bombarding the sun radiation particles and phosphorus chemical, so they will be having some substrate at the end. Okay, so that substrate will be concluding that this identifier as the presence of phosphorus at this particular impacted zone. Okay, so due to this mechanism, due to this spectropolarity mechanism, they can detect the presence of phosphorus, magnesium, and all sort of things like around surrounding the things. Okay, so maybe they can just calculate the vegetation level of the surrounding, like the other planets like Mercury also, Venus also. Okay, they can study these particular things on that particular planet also with the help of this shape payload. Okay, So they can study this particular thing also. Okay? This is the main foundation of the shape payload. This is just the beginning of for the shape payload. This is going to do a lot in the future. Okay, this is just the beginning. Okay, and Aditya L1 is planned. Okay, so maybe they have done this particular thing for the Aditya L1 mission. Okay, I hope this shape thing is clear now. And if you want to study further, just study the wave nature of particle. You will get the idea. You will get the exact idea how to study the radiation, how to study the waves, how to study the particles, how to study the quarks. Okay, you have to go into the depth. Okay, you have to go into the depth. You have to study the quarks also. Okay, so you can get the idea. Okay. So, any question, or should we close this session? Okay. Harsh, there is any question in YouTube?
No.
Vijit, Manish, can we close the session if there is no question from your side, guys?
Yeah, sure. I think no, there are no questions. I think, and I think we can end the session now. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you everyone for joining. And before ending the session, I'd like to say that we will be Hex Universe and Resolute Lab India will be organizing an internship next month, and there will be ex-ISRO scientists and other working professionals who will be in the internship. So don't forget to join that, register yourself for that, and get yourself industry ready. And also, Hex Universe is launching a masterclass on astrobiology at the end of this month. So, which will be where Anuj Soni and Yamini Tripathi will be teaching in the session. So don't forget to register for that session also. And also, we will be launching a masterclass session on space law, where Veronica Moronose will be speaking, will be the instructor for the session. Don't forget to join in that session also. I think you'll be learning a lot from the session, and it will be really helpful for if you are looking forward to those career opportunities.
Yes, guys, space laws are really important. If you want to design your payload, space laws plays a really crucial role, because you can't just take anything into this space. Okay, so for that particular thing, you have to study the space laws. Okay, so you can just enroll in the master classes by the Hex-Star Universe. Okay, and yeah, regarding that internship is really going to be one of the finest internship in the country. This will be having the ex-ISRO scientists, the founders of various space tech startups will be joining in that internship as the guest lecturers. Okay, so they will be taking the session. So you can just join that. Okay, and one person has asked about the how to join the Resolute. You can just mail to us as a resolute.lab@gmail.com. Okay, so yeah, this is the form for the internship. Yeah, the registration are going on. You can just register for the internship. Okay. So thank you guys for joining, and I hope tomorrow, if you are going to watch the Chandrayaan 3 launch, you will be remembering all the points we have discussed today. Okay. So thank you for joining, and yeah, educate others about this Chandrayaan 3 mission. Educate your parents, educate your surrounding, educate your friends. Okay. Just educate everyone in the country. Okay. Let's bring space for everyone. Okay. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining, everyone. We'll be ending the session here.
Moon. This familiar object in the night sky has inspired the imagination of astronomers and ordinary people alike. From time immemorial, humans have marveled at the beauty of the moon, used it to count time and navigate the high seas. In modern times, Moon, the only natural satellite of the Earth, has acquired added importance due to the belief that Moon is the key to our understanding of the evolution of the solar system in general and Earth in particular. Besides, Moon's precious resources and low gravity have further endeared it to humans. India, a major spacefaring nation, has conducted a detailed exploration of the Moon through its Chandrayaan program. The country has sent 2 robotic spacecraft to orbit the Moon and to take a repeated look at its surface. Chandrayaan 1 demonstrated India's ability to reach the surface of the moon at a place and time of its choice. And with it, India became the fourth country to reach the surface of the moon in November 2008. Besides, Chandrayaan 1's conclusive discovery of water on the moon in 2009 was praised as a path-breaking discovery. The follow-on mission Chandrayaan 2 had an orbiter, a lander called Vikram, and a rover named Pragyan. In the past 4 years, the orbiter has repeatedly observed the lunar surface and even today is working satisfactorily. Now, 3,900 kilograms Chandrayaan 3 spacecraft is being sent to the moon with the objective of making yet another focused attempt to slowly land on the lunar surface and to explore it with the help of a rover. Following the spacecraft launched by India's most capable rocket LVM-3, the Chandrayaan 3 lander carrying a rover within it will be carried into an orbit around the moon by the Propulsion Module. A little later, the lander will separate from that module and will attempt to make a soft landing in the south polar region of the moon. This region is of intense interest as it has many permanently shadowed craters which could contain water ice and precious minerals. Chandrayaan 3 lander has 4 scientific instruments or payloads, of which one will study the moonquakes, while the other one studies as to how the surface of the moon allows heat to flow through it. The third one will study the plasma environment near the moon's surface. And the fourth instrument will enable scientists to measure the distance between the Earth and Moon very accurately. The 2 instruments on the rover help us study the composition of the moon's surface using X-rays and laser respectively. While the lander and rover will be in direct contact with each other, the propulsion module circling the moon will observe the light coming from Earth, the only planet which we know which is definitely teeming with life. This observation will help in understanding the nature of distant planets circling stars other than the Sun. As Chandrayaan 3 undergoes important tests and gears up for launch, thousands of ISRO scientists, including those who will launch it, control it, and receive the precious scientific information from it using giant dish antennas, are readying themselves for the challenging tasks ahead. In the past, their dedication and skill have enabled India to earn praise from across the world and made it proud. Let us wish them well in this great endeavor called Chandrayaan 3.